Welcome back to 100 Hours in Terraria Hardcore, and of course, we're playing on Master Mode. If you haven't seen the previous videos, welcome to the 100 Hours in Hardcore Challenge, where different stages of Terraria's progression are locked behind 10-hour increments. In the last 10 hours, I could beat Plantera and Golem, and now I am allowed to fight the Frost and Pumpkin Moons. Otherwise, I can make no other form of progression. This is the part of progression I have been fearing more than any other. The Pumpkin and Frost Moons are night-long events that scale the further you get along, meaning that if I somehow perform quite well against these events in the earlier stages, their scaling will counterbalance my preparedness and still make things quite difficult. These are events that I could skip in any other typical run, but because I'm doing this whole 100 hours thing, I decided I should defeat every boss, and bosses for the sake of this challenge will be defined as enemies that drop relics. I suppose I didn't actually intend on fighting third-tier Old One's army, but hey, I got them, didn't I? So we got those relics, we're keeping it up. The Frost Moon in particular has me a bit scared. The Elf Copters, Santa Bots, and Ever Screams all shoot fast-moving, small, hard-to-see projectiles that deal very high damage. Keeping them managed will be a task unto itself, but the Ice Queen is no slouch either, with one of her attacks in particular having a small chance of freezing me into a little Dwarven popsicle, and that could very well end the entire run. The Pumpkin Moon isn't nearly as tough, but there are several strong enemies, and Pumpkins tend to spawn more easily than Ice Queens, so their numbers alone could be a problem. All that to say, I will be heavily relying on my Sun and Moon dial to escape any potentially hazardous situations, and come to think of it, I'm not sure if these events reset the dials or not, so it's possible summoning one will force me to fight it out. I could have easily slept to the first night to get the Pumpkin Moon right from the start, but I wasn't particularly interested in rushing into these, so I messed around for a bit. We'll just call it warming up, and when the sun fell, I summoned the Pumpkin Moon. The beginning of the event is obviously quite easy, with scarecrows being the primary enemy to spawn. It is a little unfortunate how I laid out this arena though, as it would appear enemies are spawning on the platforms above and falling down on my head. Not the best, but I can easily make them drop into the lava layer below my feet for plenty of free damage. That's why it's there, so we'll use it. Come wave 6, and we see our first real threats, the Morning Wood. These trees have two primary attacks. One is a bunch of little fire shots in the vicinity of the tree, and another is a load of fiery spooky wood splinters that have far more range.
Okay, oh! Ooh. Oh no. Okay, hold up. Okay, we'll just heal up.
Right as wave 9 was ending, right before wave 10, when Pumpking is supposed to spawn, the very first King of the Pumpkins appeared.
Be ultra careful. Okay. We're about to get one. Get our first pumpkin kill. Okay. We got one, and it dropped the pet. Okay.
Sure, that wasn't very difficult, but that one boss fight is not what makes the moons dangerous. The problem with having killed one pumpkin is that I've entered later waves, and those later waves spawn more powerful enemies. A second pumpkin spawned, and then a third and a fourth, bringing me all the way to wave 15. I'm shocked I haven't seen more than one of these guys alive at the same time, but I'll happily take it. Just one of these pumpkins is a lot easier to deal with. The fourth pumpkin felt considerably more tanky than the others for no reason in particular. Maybe my damage potions had worn off. Actually, that's probably the reason. The night actually ended before killing the fourth pumpkin, meaning I have officially survived. I gathered the loot and went to add the new relics. I had 5 pumpkin relics, which is odd. Even when looking back at the footage, I didn't spot when the 5th one came out, or I didn't even kill the 4th. Wait, why do I have so many relics? Maybe that last pumpkin did actually die the last second. I don't know, but I got 5. What's sad though is I just got about nothing from the event. I did get the Hexed Branch, which I'm pretty sure is the fastest mount in the game. It's nice to have against Doofishron, though I'm hesitant to use it for Moonlord. The Unicorn mount is just fast enough to outrun him without having him teleport all the time. The Hexed Branch, on the other hand, might be so fast that Moonlord will constantly teleport, and that could be a problem for me. But that's not something I gotta worry about now. Instead, I'm going to focus on fishing in the corruption for more even koi. I remembered the damage potions, and another potion or two only last 4 minutes, while several of my survivability potions last 8 minutes. So to keep my damage up, I wanted to keep a stack of 2 of these potions with shorter lifespans. Wrath potions are one of those that I'm a little low on as well, not super low, but a solid stack of 50 makes me feel good. So I fished for a while in the least secure, most dangerous fishing spot in the world. Thankfully, the even koi were aplenty, and after returning home, I added more purple clubberfish to the collection. potions in hand, it's time to return to the Pumpkin Moon. If nothing else, I want the Witch's Broom mount. It's very handy for building, and I have a feeling I'll be building a lot during these last many hours due to the lack of progression presented by them. Not to mention, I've already done most of the farming, so I'm going to have to get creative while also not being so creative I forget I'm in hardcore and get myself killed. In hindsight, increasing my damage might not have been the smartest decision in later waves. It'd really be best to instead just focus purely on surviving instead of killing at the night's end, you know, as it winds down, so I don't put myself into those more difficult waves I mentioned earlier in the video. That, however, had not occurred to me while I was playing, and I was purely focused on making the damage number go up. This resulted in me reaching and then pushing past wave 15 into wave 16 for the first time, where for the first time I had 2 pumpkins attacking me at the same time. Pumpkins have always been a weird boss to me, what with the scythe hands stretching and moving in odd ways. Pumpkin scythe projectiles in particular give me trouble, and having 2 at once doesn't exactly make things easier. Thankfully, I was able to dodge just fine, and the day was right around the corner, so I just had to survive maybe a minute and have conquered my second Pumpkin Moon. Before we continue, if you've been enjoying the video, be sure to subscribe. At the end of the year, I'll be firing 1 mini nuke 2 from this rocket launcher at year's end for every subscriber I have. So if you want to claim your mini nuke 2 and support long-form challenges like this, consider subscribing. The event wrapped up, and as the last moon reaped 0 weapons for the pumpkins, this one resulted in 4 jack-o'-lantern launchers, also 2 candy corn rifles, I'm pretty sure, but all I can think about was 4 jack-o'-lantern launchers. Not wanting to rush into the Frost Moon, I instead got to work on making an asphalt platform spanning the left side of the world. It's going to be just over the rails, so I can still use them if I wanted, but I couldn't have asphalt under the rails lest I try to mount something and end up attached to the rail instead, so I spent quite a while setting up this asphalt highway. I've never been a big believer in these. They're nice and sure you can move fast, but they take up so much space and consume a lot of gel I usually have already used with the flamethrower. Plus, I often have the unicorn mount, so I just use that instead. I will say though, I did think this asphalt would be faster than anything else I had, but I was definitely wrong.
60 miles per hour. Wait, so this is faster? Oh, this was all a waste. This is faster than running on asphalt. This is all a waste. Oh well. At least I can dismount and still move fast.
Maybe not that big of a waste. Asphalt does mean you don't have to worry about dismounting or remounting, which is probably one of the biggest appeals. I don't know, it's fine, it's here, I might tear it down, and I killed Plantera. Do these two things have anything to do with each other? No, but I had no reason to kill the plant either, but I think I was going for the Venus Magnum, but still didn't get it, and really don't need it at this point either. That's enough stalling. It's about time to do the Frost Moon. I fished for more Wrath Potions, certain that the extra damage wouldn't actually be enough to get into those really late waves and would do nothing but help prevent bosses from being a problem. I killed Plantera 2 more times. Honestly, don't know what's going through my mind or why I think the Venus Magnum would be helpful. I still didn't get it either, but now I slept to the next night. To the event, I fear more than any other. Even the pillars don't have me nearly as anxious as the Frost Moon. Well, that might not be true, but at the same time, I think it is. Anyways, night came, and I summoned the Frost Moon. I clear the first waves and a single Everscream before the Elf Copters come in the 6th wave. Of course, I focused primarily on making sure all of those were dead. Come wave 7, the first Santa NK1 spawned. These things have a fast machine gun, rockets that are like the Morningwood's projectile thingies, and of course, they can shoot a barrage of presents into the sky. Thankfully, with this being an earlier phase, I'm able to focus on killing Santa Claus without being distracted or bothered by other enemies. That remained largely the case as the night continued, with Santa and the trees hanging out in the lava layer, while I remained safely out of range of most of their attacks. The Santas have to be the main target over the trees due to them actually having attacks with more infinite range, while the trees were a bit more limited, and an Elf Melter dropped from one of them, which is neat, although I never found the Elf Melter to actually be that helpful. It's kind of weak. There's not a whole lot of situations at this point in progression where a flamethrower is particularly useful. I hit wave 11, and this is when the first Ice Queen spawned.
Oh, okay, we got the ice. Okay, no more Santa. There we go. Nice, nice. Ugh. Come on. Ooh. I am cold! Oh, I should get warmth potions. That could actually help with this. Oh, the North Pole. Sweet. Like the only thing I could actually benefit from in this.
I can't believe I didn't think to make warmth potions. This is probably one of the rare situations that potion would actually be useful. For all I know, they also would make me immune to being turned into a frozen little Thorbensicle. The second Ice Queen fell, and so did the third before the night ended, but the battle wasn't over yet. Santa NK1 was fleeing the battlefield, but the thing is, these guys are super slow, so I was able to keep pace with him and kill it off after the sun had risen. So I placed the relics of the bosses I had defeated, but something was off. I had killed 3 Ice Queens, but there was only 1 relic. I also know for a fact I killed more Santas and Everscreams than the ones that I placed. Something isn't quite right, but I'm okay with that, I suppose. I did get a cool mount after all.
Hey! Now we have a tank. Let's go. You're going down now, mate. Yeah!
I had also collected the chain gun, and after searching in the jungle for a hot second for a bulb, the moment I laid eyes on one, I came to my senses.
Wait, I don't need a bulb. I have the chain gun now. I'm fine. What am I doing?
So we returned home, and the NPCs are having a party, which is how I came across this game-changing discovery.
Wait, the tax collector doesn't have a party hat. Wait a minute. Oh, he doesn't participate in the party. Poor guy. Here, let me take some of your taxes. Ah, there you go. Do you want to celebrate now? Oh, whoops.
I messed around a bit with the speed of the Hex Branch Unicorn in my bare feet until night fell, and I decided to summon yet another Frost Moon. Why did I do this? Well, mostly because it just felt right, beating the moon twice, as it proves it's not just luck, but also because I wanted to test the North Pole a bit. Perhaps I'm not meant to have the Flying Dragon and Dragon's Fury right now, as they're 2 of the best melee weapons free Moonlord, but I thought the North Pole could potentially compete during events. The sheer number of snowflakes it drops, I figured, would do well, and all things considered, it's fine, but highly inconsistent. When there were a metric ton of enemies below it, then the North Pole could actually match the DPS of the others, but that was a whole lot more reliant on groups being gathered in one place than any of the other weapons I had on hand. I finished the night on wave 14, having defeated several Ice Queens and many Everscreams and Senta NK1s, but what's important is that the night has ended and I have officially beaten both of the moon events in Master Mode Hardcore, and both of them twice. That marks another massive milestone I have never in a million years thought I would ever achieve. I went above my home to mark my achievement with the relics I had collected.
Wait, what? No, Everscream relics. What? What's the deal with the Frost Moon? Where are all the relics? What happened to them?
Okay, I know for a fact that I killed more Everscreams during the Frost Moon. I killed more Santas and more Ice Queens than the relics suggest, and I have no idea what's going on. Do they not always drop a relic? Are they supposed to? And no, they haven't burned in the lava. Okay, what's going on here? I guess it's time to keep myself busy. I realized that the hollow had spread onto the left side of the elevator. This much was obvious, but I had only separated the right side to spawn from the hollow, and it occurs to me it could very easily spread up from the left side as well, so I bombed that side for a while until it was all good and blown up. Now at the very least, spawn will remain safe from the inevitable hollow apocalypse. Speaking of the hollow, there is one more dungeon key I have yet to acquire. Somehow, I had extraordinary luck with the desert and jungle keys and got those without even trying, and then put in the effort to farm the crimson key, got lucky and had the tundra key drop pretty easily, and now I just have that itch to unlock all 5 biome chests. I don't remember the last time I actually managed to do this. Heck, I didn't even do this in my 1 year series. In fact, I don't remember if I opened a single biome chest in that run, and I did do some farming for them. I often went out of my way to avoid farming, as I think it's not exactly the most exciting thing to do in the year series, and that's true, but in hardcore, it makes a lot more sense to do this farming. Granted, the rainbow gun inside the hollow chest isn't exactly going to be very helpful for me, but hey, I got the other 4 and I'm not building, so this is what we're doing, I guess. Another reason I'm not building in this run, at least not as much, is because I'm doing the year-long series alongside this, and I want to have the motivation to build in that one, so I don't want to burn myself out with building during this run, which has, combined with the year run, it's gotten me a little closer to burnout than I'd like. Anyways, I got the key.
Oh wait, I got a hollow. When did that happen? When did it? How long has that been there?
And so I got the rainbow gun, and You know what I decided to do after that? Build. Okay, for context, I just recently watched a Tommy Tsunami tutorial about making windows in Terraria, and it inspired me, but it wasn't the windows that inspired me. No. Rather, it was the house he used to showcase the windows. I really liked it, so I figured I'd just really quickly hit Control-C and Control-V to get that building into my world, but I'm not nearly as good a builder as he is, so this will be a poor imitation. You'll have to look at his video to see, and I did steal his stairs, though I wasn't actually looking at his video, and I was just using it as reference. I was purely using my mind to remember what it looked like and try to recreate it, okay? I didn't quite look at it, so maybe it's going to be more different than I remember. It makes me feel less dirty too, you know, copying it when I don't actually look at it. I have to use my memory. I do have one problem though. I have run out of Dynasty Wood, and the Traveling Merchant isn't spawning, so I can't finish filling in all the walls here. I got most of them, but not the top level. I made this one window Tommy Tsunami mentioned in this tutorial. It looks kind of nice, but I'm gonna have to spruce it up later. And as I waited for the Dynasty Wood to come, I decided to get to work on adding a bunch of clouds above the, or in the ground? In the ground? Above the build. I want this to feel like it's on the surface, even though it quite obviously is not. I can't build on the surface, remember? Too many potential obstacles during boss battles. Speaking of which, there is one event. One mini boss I have yet to fight. It doesn't drop a relic, so I didn't feel compelled to kill the thing on tier, but I figured I should do it for the heck of it. Of course, I'm talking about the Dread Nautilus. How is my Socrates impression? Of course, I'm talking about the Dread Nautilus. Maybe that's a little bit better. I don't know. I need to work on it some more. I'm coming for you, Sock. I killed a few blood eels and a hemoglobin shark just for good measure before finally fishing up a Dread Nautilus, and I was not anticipating this boss battle being so dangerous. Okay. Oh, it's on some little minions. Oh, Cloud! Oh! The Nautilus died and the clown was no more. Heart pounding. I returned home and thought about what I had just done. I had considered the possibility of a clown spawning, but I had not considered how easily one could kill me if I didn't see it fast enough. One more hit, and the clown could probably have taken me out. I hadn't even brought potions to the event, not thinking the Nautilus to be worth what would have been a very cheap cost. That's enough putting my life in danger for now, I think. So I returned to my Dynasty Wood home. First, I started working on finishing a full cloud layer above it, as I couldn't think of what to do about all the dirt. And somehow this became one of the single most momentous occasions of my life. I heard it! I heard that! Did you? I've wanted to hear that sound effect forever! Where is it? Where's the duck? Where's the duck? While I wait for the Traveling Merchant to get Dynasty Wood, I figured I should decorate the interior of the first floor, but the thing is, I don't know how to make interiors. I suck at them, generally speaking, in particular when they are in a larger open space like this. Not sure what to do, I decided to make some love potions to distract myself, and I splashed them on NPCs so they'd love something. I was thinking it might do something, but their prices didn't drop. They didn't start selling pylons. Is this potion literally just a particle effect? Why do princess fish exist? I slapped a couch down by the window. Ah, yes. Masterful interior design right there. I thought some nice potted plants would be good, and the Dryad sold the ones above the house here before, but now she's selling a different kind of plant and not the ones above the house. Wait, when did this rotate? I didn't know this was a thing. I wonder how many variants there are and when they switch. I know it's not a night and day thing at the very least. I wish I could get more of the seaweed plants. That's really the one I want the most, but those I'm pretty sure you only get from fishing or crates, and after doing and opening many of those, I have only ever gotten one. A bit too rare for my taste to try and go get more. With all of these and a few other things, I made the one window look nice. Now just the rest of the floor. I spaced out and created these windows, learning that banners can hang from hammered platforms, which is an absolute game changer. I then repeated this pattern with the windows using different articles of furniture to break up the pattern and symmetry to make it feel more natural. I then framed the cross-hatched windows to make them more of an actual part of the building and added some lanterns as it would appear sunlight isn't reaching this low. Turns out the lower floors is in the underground, and so I'm stuck with the underground backdrop. That really sucks. I continued the style onto the other side of the first floor and added a number of paintings and trophies to liven up the empty white walls. I then spent an entire hour doing nothing but decorating the second floor. This probably shouldn't have taken 2 hours, but a large chunk of time was spent figuring out what I even wanted to do with it, and I didn't have a pattern to follow through the whole floor. That's not to say the building process wasn't eventful.
Solar eclipse. Oh, what the heck? Oh, that's not nice.
Having the first 2 floors mostly done, I figured it might make sense to spend a hefty chunk of time farming for the Rudda Discord. So I went down into the hollow, drinking a battle and luck potion, and proceeded to kill one single Chaos Elemental.
Are you? I just came down here to farm for hours, but this is right there.
Or I've done some previous farming, but come on, it always feels good when you start farming and it ends up, you end up getting it immediately. Still in collection mode, I killed the golem 6 more times, which consumed every power cell available from the chest in the jungle temple. And even after many golems, I am still without my sunstone. I was concerned I wouldn't be able to fight golem at all now, especially since I thought there was a crafting recipe for power cells, but there is not. The only way to get more is to farm the enemies down there. Instead of heading right to the jungle temple to farm for more, I finished the second floor of the, what should I call this? I don't know, let's call it the Haru Hotel. Second floor done, I tried farming golem again, killing enough of the enemies for 3 power cells, and I still have no sunstone at all. I checked the bestiary and see I have killed the sentient hardened clay 21 times and still no sunstone. Flashbacks of the stellar tune are appearing in my mind. While I was at it, I checked the number of ice queens I had slain as well, and its number was indeed higher than the number of relics I had on hand. I don't know what's wrong with Frost Moon, but the relics are not dropping relogic. I ended up with another golem killing spree, and on 24 golems, I at last got the sunstone, which basically marks the end of the things I can think of to collect. Although I do need a moonstone, and I've gotten maybe like 10 of those, and somehow I sold all of them and didn't save any, so I still can't make the thing. So I got to work on the 3rd floor of the Haru Hotel when I noticed something weird about Dynasty Lanterns.
Dynasty Lanterns are 1 pixel smaller on the right than the left.
And through the magic of editing, the Haru Hotel is completed. Thank you, Tommy Tsunami, for giving me this idea with this video, or this run, whatever. It's probably a couple months old. This video is probably a couple months old by the time that this comes out, but it was a real inspiration for what might be my favorite large structure I have ever built in Terraria, and at least I feel much better about making interiors in the future. And with the final hour, I filled in the entire sky portion of the map, fished for even koi, and figured out that if you synchronize your breathing to the ups and downs of the relics, you may just find yourself calming your nerves. I have too much time on my hands. But that wraps up 70 hours and 100 hours of hardcore. I actually got past the part of the run I feared most, but at the point of recording this, Wild LMAO released the finale of his 30 times spawn rates hardcore challenge, and he died to the Martians, which is the very events I'll be facing in the next 10 hours. So needless to say, it got me a little nervous. You can watch that episode right here when it releases, and below it, you can watch the entire series start to finish.